Man, 2017 was such a great year for gaming. How are we gonna top that? What the? Where the hell am I? I gotta get home. Oh man, I never thought I'd get out from there. Huh, and where was I? Dissidia Final Fantasy. On the PlayStation 4? Hell yeah. But if we're gonna talk about Dissidia Final Fantasy, can't get around talking about where it all began. Final Fantasy, one of my favorite franchises in the whole world. Final Fantasy is one of the biggest, if not the absolute biggest JRPG series to ever grace this world. Let's take a look where it all began. Before we begin, I just need to get my nostalgia goggles on to really get in the... Oh man, I remember this very differently.
Final Fantasy was a charming little RPG with a deceptive depth. It may not seem much, but the sheer amount of whimsical designs and the size of the world and globe-trotting adventure was enormous at the time. In Final Fantasy, you take control of 4 unnamed warriors of light tasked with saving the princess, bring balance to the world, and defeat the bad guy. There's a handful of classes known as jobs, but only 4 character slots. Clever, they're adding replay value and possibilities to tailor your playstyle. You want a magic-heavy team? There's a bunch of mages. You want an all-out slugfest? Try some fighters, thieves, or monks. Or any mix in between. This formula would shape everything to come. The first installment of Final Fantasy released in 1987 in Japan and was the last-ditch effort of developer Hironobu Sakaguchi to make it as a game developer. If the game didn't sell, he would give up and go back to university. But the game became a smash hit success and quickly became the studio's flagship title, and work on a sequel began immediately. In the following years, Final Fantasy would find its feet and evolve into something truly great and become smash hit success and pop culture icons with every installment. But something went horribly wrong. In the early 2000s, Squaresoft began an internal restructuring and talks were made with Enix about a merger, which eventually happened after Final Fantasy X and Kingdom Hearts became massive successes. And on April 1st, 2003, Squaresoft lost part of its soul and became Square Enix. All Final Fantasy games produced since then have lacked something: quality, spirit. And while 12 is a really good game, it's just different, it doesn't have the same feel. And Final Fantasy 15 has its own feel, but it's an incomplete mess that took 10 years to make. 11 and 14 are MMOs, and well, let's not even get started on 13. You see, it's like The Simpsons, right? It started wonky, turned amazing, and then lost its soul and it's now unrecognizable.
These flowers! You remember them, right?
Sure I do. They grew all over Eba.
What happened to you? I used to love you.
So when Square Enix came to us with its holy words, yo, we're making a fighting game now, we viewed it with some trepidation because it seemed like a bit of a dishonest cash grab. But I've rarely been happier to be oh so wrong indeed.
So along comes Dissidia with this wonderful little system.
So hang on, it might get a little complicated here. So you have two sets of points and attacks that target them. Your bravery and your hit points. Your hit points are your health. They reach 0, you lose. You target these specifically with HP attacks like finishing moves, and will often be characters' special attacks or notable moves. Bravery is what you'll be spending most of your time with. It's what determines the strength of your HP attacks, and as your bravery attacks deplete your enemy's stock, they build your own until your opponent reaches 0 and they will break. Adding the stage bravery onto your own and leave the opponent harmless for a short while until he can recoup. Or if they land an HP attack, which will deal 0 damage as long as they're broken. A hectic duel focusing on dealing 1 lethal blow, and if you don't manage to bring down your opponent with your HP attack, your own bravery depletes and you're vulnerable, making it a lethal tug-of-war game. And if all of that wasn't quite enough, each character is specialized based on the character traits and elements of their original game. Squall, who is a mercenary trained to kill sorceresses, is an anti-mage, able to quickly close distances, harry enemies with swift combos and HP attacks through many magic effects. Zidane, an acrobatic trickster thief, is an aerial expert with deft combos you can use to direct yourself in the air. Tidus, an athlete with quick reflexes and more speed than power, is all about tricky dodges woven into his attacks. Terra is an Espekin, and no, that's not a Tumblrism. Her game is total magical domination. And Cloud?
Are you ready for this?
Cloud hit things good, and the villains are themed accordingly. Ultimecia is a mage who thrives by keeping her enemies out of range. Jack has brutal physical combos he can change on the fly. Kefka's magic looks straightforward, but it's wild and can attack from all angles. Sephiroth hits multiple times per strike based on your input position, weighing your every strike more carefully than others. And Kuja can attack at any range with a wide variety of quick, powerful spells. And is the only character who can stay indefinitely in the air outside of EX mode. Oh, EX mode? It's only a special state you can achieve that can make or break a game, and represents the way characters throughout the series broke their limits, achieved special forms, and performed special attacks. With it, you can break combos for game-turn encounters or perform devastating special attacks, complete with inputs mirroring those of their original games, such as Squall's Rentokukan or Tidus' Overdrive, with fun original gimmicks put in place of the characters who had no such thing. Now everybody knows the fan service game is incomplete without skins, and boy were there a bunch to begin with even more added for Duodecim. And if that wasn't quite enough, there's an entire system of weapons and armor with crafting, set bonuses and the like, just like your classic Final Fantasies, complete with your character's unique weapons. There's accessories that grant stats, special passive abilities, emergency solutions, one-time buffs and multipliers for every conceivable situation. The summons are also varied, and many of them exist in 2 forms, user activated or activated upon completing a condition. And now the ability system. It's beyond comprehensive. Each character has 3 ground attack slots and 3 air attack slots, both bravery and HP, and most characters will gain a multitude of options. There's also your movement abilities, dashes, movement speed, auto input for EX abilities, bonus damage when riposting, counter attacking and sneak attacking, and many more exciting things. But all will be limited by a shared point pool, which will increase with levels, and your abilities' costs will decrease as well as you master them, making you increasingly more powerful and giving you more options. So how does this progression work then? Well, how does it usually work in Final Fantasy? You gain experience points while battling, leveling up your character as you would expect, with their stats increasing and learning new moves, and you gain ability points as well. At the beginning of each battle you'll see a prompt with a condition, fulfill that condition and you gain extra ability points.
Try and catch up to me.
There's also PV, which is a unique currency for Dissidia, and with it you purchase character skins, stages, background music and online profile bling, reserving your hard-earned gil for weapons and other items directly affecting gameplay. And Dissidia does all of these things while also offering an interesting story. So the story is incredibly simple if you're just looking to battle your beloved characters, but if you dive deeper and the game grips you, it is deceptively deep. In the original Dissidia, it worked by clearing chess-like game boards with battles for game pieces and treasures, special conditions and powers also appearing, with cutscenes progressing the story in between and significant battles taking place accordingly. Each character's story closely mimics the character development they go through in their own games, with the characters playing the supporting cast for each other all the way. Fun stuff indeed. Duodecim expanded heavily upon this by recreating the world map from the very first Final Fantasy and letting your chosen character run around and explore, battling random encounters, finding treasure, and solving gateways with the original system to progress. And there are other battle modes as well. A cool dungeon where you go in with nothing. There's arcade modes, time attacks, team battles, and so on, with challenges ranging from trivial to downright unfair. But it's when you master the game and its ways that it becomes truly rewarding. All in all, going above and beyond for what seemed like a simple little handheld fan service game.
So you can imagine my excitement when Dissidia NT was announced. Finally, a Dissidia game on a main home console. I can't wait to play it. Let's see how it shapes up.
Finish that bow, Kupo!
Shit.
So, Dissidia NT came from an arcade version of Dissidia, originally from 2015. And you can just feel how arcade it is. It's classic form over function. You immediately feel you're not supposed to sit down and have a journey with your chosen character. You don't develop and progress in the same way. There's no custom experience. Everything is laid out ready for you to begin with, and for an arcade machine, that's perfectly fine. RPG isn't really made for arcade. Now, relatively few people did play Dissidia to begin with. Between the original and Duodecim, they managed a few million units shipped, but only on PSP, and while the games were very well received, being on the PSP made them niche more so than mainstream hits. But those numbers still absolutely dwarf any arcade numbers, so I focus on the arcade aspect over the game's roots. Well, in the end of the day, that's their choice, but it does come with a fair share of problems. Rigid system, no progression, chaotic battles, lazy arcade boards, you buy the story with points and loot boxes! Alright, slow down. Alright. So first of all, the focus of battles has been changed completely. Before, it was a laser-focused duel between two entities with clear-cut characteristics. Sometimes you'd be matched poorly, like Cloud versus the Trapmaster, the Emperor, or Terra versus Axdeath with his powerful blocks and counters, or anybody versus Warrior of Light because Warrior of Light is an overpowered piece of shit. It's favoritism, I don't like it. In NT, the battles are now team-focused 3v3 and it's just a melee in every sense of the word. There's no metered exchanges and strategy to consider based on the matchup, because no matter how well you play or who you play, there's a good chance you're gonna be hit for something from off-screen if you can even see anything under the terrible UI. Everything is just a chaos of particle effects, and a tutorial move telling you to block something you couldn't possibly have seen coming. Summons just amplify this. Instead of every summon having a special effect, it all boils down to them showing up and bombarding the area with particles. Their effects seem barely noticeable, and they switched the core system from one where the EX core periodically spawned and sucked up all ambient EX energy, awarding a substantial amount to the one who could touch it first, making it a mad race every time one showed up. Now the core is the way you summon. Where a core appears, you rush to it, hit it a bunch to fill a gauge that it will eventually allow you to summon. Battles mostly take place around the core when it appears, amplifying the chaos. Yay! And there's these victory points now, so your health doesn't determine if you're in or out. All it does is give you a little timeout and take away a point, inching you closer to death. I mean defeat. Is this fun? The way a bravery break stopped the battle and changed its course before, the way a single well-placed, well-timed, well-chosen HP attack decided a whole battle, it's all gone. It used to be this. Now it's this. Let me reiterate, it was this. Now it's this. Okay, so items. Because everything has to be reduced to instant playability, there is no equipment. None. No stats, no accessories, none. Nothing to tailor your character to your playstyle. Nothing to augment a character's strengths or to cover their weaknesses. There is weapon skins, yeah, alongside the character skins, so you're going absolutely naked. So let me tell you a little bit about how things used to be. There was so much of everything before, so you may be thinking, if all that is just in a shop, where's the fun in that? Well, remember how things sometimes drop from defeated enemies in Final Fantasy games? Dissidia did the same thing. Sometimes entire items would drop from enemies, sometimes parts of the items the enemy was wearing. And there were specific items used in item crafting dropping from specific characters based on conditions fulfilled in battle. There were special items from breaking a section of a stage. There was just so much good stuff. And now, the most egregious part. You may have noticed I've only briefly mentioned the story. Well, it's because it's barely there. It works like this, alright? There are nodes. Each node is a cutscene, sometimes with a battle. Alright, so how do you progress? Choose a node, do a battle, be rewarded with a cutscene and move on. Oh, you naive little thing now. That would be a good game. What happens is, you watch the first cutscene, which sets everything up as a shallow, botoxed, spit-polished Chinese knockoff of the most surface level of the plot from the previous games. Two warring deities with unknown motives recruit Final Fantasy characters to fight for them. Great! Cutscene end. Now what do? Next node? Well, no, that would be easy. You need a type of point to progress. 1 point unlocks 1 node. How do you get these points? You battle. Just random ass battles in battle mode. Oh, and did I mention the battles aren't fun anymore? Oh yeah, the battles aren't fun and they aren't rewarding. So you complete a set of battles, you get a measly amount of guild. Oh, don't worry, it'll take you a couple of runs for just 1 skin in the shop. Otherwise, you can spend the guild on online profile crap. Yay! Alright, maybe you get a treasure every now and then. Oh, fuck, are you kidding me? There are loot boxes. And what's in there? It's online profile crap! And maybe a skin here and there. But most skins are ugly recolors, unless you're Cloud or Lightning. Great. Just great. And when you manage to get a story point, Memoria, yeah, like Memoria from Better Game, you go into story mode, you unlock a node, the node is a 30-second cutscene that doesn't advance the plot in any way and just makes you hate every character and yourself even more. And when those 30 seconds are done, you're looking at another 30 minutes in battle mode, and even on trivial difficulties, battles are long and annoying. No more of this shit. Every once in a while, there may be a battle, or God forbid, a boss. Do you like confusing mechanics? Do you like battles that don't adhere to the game's main systems? What do? When do I attack? Do I bravery break him? Now he's broken. Can I attack him now? No. Oh, the Moogle tells me I can attack him now. Great. Like, the bosses before, Chaos and Feral Chaos, were grueling, difficult, but they adhered to the same rules. You broke the bravery, you attacked them with HP, or even just chipped away with small HP attacks because your bravery was so much in danger of being depleted at any one time because of a merciless flurry of attacks. This guy doesn't give a shit about you. It's not even fair. It's not even fun either. And repeat. Now, I usually never count the time in Final Fantasy games because Final Fantasy games are usually meant to make you forget time. The old games make you want to draw magic from goldfish for hours on end because it rewards you. The old games make you want to kill mover after mover or cactuar after cactuar to develop your abilities because it rewards you. The old games makes you want to prolong trivial encounters for way too long because you need to steal that one item because it rewards you. Final Fantasy is not supposed to be like this.
Hey man, you want to play some Final Fantasy?
I mean, I can probably clear an hour.
Final Fantasy is supposed to be like this.
Hey man, you want to play some Final Fantasy?
Holy shit! I'll go the weekend!
Now, mastering a game's challenges and mechanics makes you feel empowered, and develop characters with decked out inventories makes you feel accomplished, and as if your time was well spent. Randomness is frustrating because it becomes chance instead of growing skill. You're working towards something specific, not working towards a chance at something specific.
What happened? How could it possibly go so wrong?
I can only imagine what happened when they took over.
Hey man, I got a new franchise for you. What the fuck is this?
Got tits in it?
No.
You want me to put some tits in it?
No, actually, give me that back. Give me that back.
Come on, man. Just a little bit of tits. Just a little bit of tits.
No, man. Back off. I just want you to make it competitive.
Competitive? You know you can't spell fucking competitive without tits, right?
There's only one thing to do here. I have to go see him.
The ritual is complete. Now work, damn you, work! Please, it has to work. I've got nothing left. Not another failure. Damn you! What? Who are you? Why have you come?
I'm here for you, child.
It's you. You answered my prayers.
What do you require of me, child?
Something's very wrong with this world. Up is down, left is right, and Final Fantasy isn't good.
After 12 cycles, this world has been taken over by Commune Nazi and Republic rats.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Why did you think your appearance was different in every shot of this video?
I thought that was just an opportunity to show off my awesome t-shirt collection.
You're a victim of the cycle. And it's not awesome. It's super lame.
Hey, screw you, man. Nobody's excited for your remaster anymore anyways. You picked in the 90s like the rest of us.
Shut up, you damn nerd. To free this world, you must break the cycle.
But how? How do I break the cycle?
Every time you almost finish this video, they reset the world and the cycle begins anew. To break the cycle, you must finally finish the video. Finish everything.
You're right. You're right!
So here we are at the end. There's only one question left to answer. But does it rock? You see, a game can be flawed and still be enjoyable. Actually, I think that's the soul of Final Fantasy nowadays. At least that's what it's become. So Final Fantasy never really settled. Every installment is different, always pushing the envelope, for good or for bad. But Dissidia is something else entirely. Comfortable wearing someone else's name and resting on the accolades of someone else's achievement. Just stole the name. Doesn't matter, it has nothing to do with the original. It's like this, alright. So you hear your favorite 80s rock band or something is in town. You instantly buy a ticket. You go to the venue and you find out there's a 1 drink minimum. You think, oh, that's kind of weird for a concert, but whatever, I'll go with it. So the band comes on and something's kind of off. Like, it's like a cover band, so it sounds almost the same, but it's off, and they've all had plastic surgery to look like the real band, but like they did back in the day, so they're like weird and plasticky and way too perfect. So they start playing the songs in different keys, and there's like a 10-minute break between every song. So during one of the breaks, you go get some merch, because their merch was always really, really good. And you can see from the line, it's crisp as it has ever been. But the prices? The prices are way expensive. But they offer you like a free mystery box if you stand in this mystery line. So you stand in the mystery line for like, let's say 20 minutes. You finally get your mystery box. You open it and it's a cracked DVD of Queen live at Wembley '86. It's completely unable to give you any joy whatsoever, but it reminds you of better times. And the cashier turns to look at you and says, oh, hey, would you like some more reminders of a bygone era that you can never have back, or is this metaphor completely overdone by now? And then all of a sudden you wake up, you're sitting on a park bench drinking Lambrusco out of an egg cup. There's a vagrant next to you, he's got his hand on your lap, and not like in the innocent part, but like in the juicy part. And he's playing Sweet Child of Mine with his other hand on his harmonica. And you know what? It sounds pretty good, and it's still a better time than it is playing Dissidia.